Hello and a warm welcome to World This Week by Latest Laws. This is a weekly program, so hit the bell icon to get notifications for new videos. My name is Vasvi Bhatia and let's begin with Supreme Court this week.
Taking custody of daughter-in-law's jewellery for safety cannot constitute cruelty under Section 498A of the Indian Penal Code. The Apex Court has said. The bench said failure to control an adult brother living independently or giving advice to a just sister-in-law to avoid retaliation cannot constitute cruelty with the bride within the meaning of Section 498A of the Indian Penal Code. The Supreme Court, in one of its rulings, has held that a worker died due to occupational hazard cannot be denied compensation on the ground of differential designation when the functions ought to be performed are nearly similar. The Supreme Court fast-tracked the demolition of Supertech's 40-story twin towers at Noida's Emerald Court project by directing the real estate builder to ensure all formalities for beginning the demolition of the towers is completed within 2 weeks. The Apex Court declared the towers illegal on August 31, 2021 and set a deadline of 3 months to demolish them. The Apex Court has prima facie held ExBihar Chief Secretary Tripura Sharan and serving officials, including the Principal Secretary of the Financial Department, to be guilty for contempt of court and asked them to personally appear before it to explain why they shouldn't be punished for not complying with its order to grant pensionary and retiral benefits to some of the state government employees, reports the news agency. Next, we have the Delhi High Court. It isn't enough to say that the act inside a marital sphere is not rape and outside the sphere it is, Delhi High Court said while hearing a batch of pleas seeking to criminalize marital rape. The division bench, while dealing with the divorce petition, observed that not only living together for any significant length of time since inception of marriage do amount mental cruelty. The Delhi High Court has established that insurance companies bound to pay compensation to the deceased family even if the offending vehicle was stolen and driven unauthorizedly by someone else. Next, we have the Bombay High Court. The Bombay High Court has reiterated that conviction can be based solely on circumstantial evidence, provided it passes the well-recognized test of credibility and reliability. Next, we have the Madras High Court. The Madurai bench of Madras High Court sought a reply from the Tamil Nadu government and state police as to why the social media companies cannot be included as accused or abettor in criminal cases involving social media platforms. The bench observed that misuse of technology cannot be allowed and asked the police to submit a report on how much the YouTuber Dura Murugan earns by broadcasting the objected videos through the social media platforms. Next, we have the Punjab and Haryana High Court. The Punjab and Haryana High Court has granted bail to an accused, observing that role attributed to him prima facie is not more serious than the role attributed to the other accused who were granted bail. The single-judge bench in the case in hand also took note of the fact that the accused was a first-time offender and thus deserves an opportunity to course-correct. Next, we have the Himachal Pradesh and Shimla High Court. The High Court of Himachal Pradesh has answered affirmatively to the question as to whether an accused can seek quashing of criminal proceedings upon his or her exoneration in departmental inquiry. The single-judge bench observed that once a conclusion is reached upon in the departmental inquiry, the issue no longer remains res integra. Next, we have the Jharkhand High Court, reprimanding the CBI for not properly investigating the unnatural death of Dhanbad Judge Uttam Anand in July last year. The High Court of Jharkhand said there is a greater conspiracy into the matter which needs to be unearthed. Next, we have the Guwahati High Court. The Guwahati High Court has asked the Assam government to file a detained affidavit on the alleged fake encounters being conducted in the state by Assam police since May last year. The detailed affidavit is to be filled by the Secretary Home or the Additional Secretary Home within 2 weeks. Next, we have the Patna High Court. The Patna High Court has told the Supreme Court that there is a phenomenal increase in filing of bail applications due to the enforcement of prohibition in the state, and roughly 25% of regular bail pleas are being filed under the Bihar Prohibition and Excise Act alone. The High Court said it is working with less than half of its sanction strength and that the increase in filing of bail applications is causing delay in disposal of regular bail plea. Next, we have the Gujarat High Court. The High Court of Gujarat imposed an exemplary fine of ₹1 lakh on a litigant for filing a plea for a second time without informing the court that he had filed a similar plea earlier and withdrawn it. Finally, we have miscellaneous news. The centre has told the Apex Court that COVID-19 vaccination guidelines issued by the Union Health Ministry don't envisage forcible vaccination without obtaining the consent of an individual. In an affidavit filed in the Supreme Court, the government has also said that although the ministry urged everyone to take the COVID-19 vaccine, it never forced anyone to get vaccinated against their wishes. No guidelines have been issued that make it mandatory for citizens to carry their COVID-19 vaccination certificates for any purpose, the central government has told the Supreme Court in an affidavit. The centre made the submission to response to a petition filed by a non-government organisation, Ivara Foundation, seeking door-to-door and priority COVID-19 vaccinations for persons with disabilities. The NGO also sought exemption for such persons from producing vaccination certificates. And here we have the international news. An Italian couple has won a 2-decade-long legal battle in which they used a post-World War II international treaty to show the allowed volume of a toilet flush. The experience began as a regular neighborhood feud, but it lasted over 2 decades before reaching Italy's Supreme Court last week, according to Rome daily La Repubblica. Thank you and have a nice day. This is a weekly program. To get weekly updates, like and subscribe to our channel. And for more information, check the description box. Thank you.